34 p.m. Eastern Time at the start of a 5-minute launch window. Weather for tonight's launch is excellent. The forecast calls for just a few clouds at 5,000 feet and 25,000 feet. Winds out of the southwest at 4 knots. A launch time temperature of 67 degrees Fahrenheit overall. The weather officer at Wallops says we are 90% go for launch this evening. Good evening from our anchor post at Mission Control here in Houston and the International Space Station Flight Control Room at the Johnson Space Center. Flight controllers here are monitoring their consoles, watching over the station, its systems, and the 3 crew members comprising the Expedition 63 crew. More on them in a moment. Back at the Wallops Flight Facility in Virginia, Northrop Grumman engineers are monitoring the countdown of this hour from the Range Control Center that you see there, and will be in control of the 9-minute climb to orbit for the 2-stage Antares rocket from liftoff to Cygnus's spacecraft separation from the vehicle's second stage. Up the road from Wallops in Dulles, Virginia, another team of Northrop Grumman engineers are on duty as well, ready to take over the flight of Cygnus after spacecraft separation. They are under the lead tonight of Mission Director Zach Dwyer. Here at Mission Control in Houston, the Orbit 3 team of flight controllers is on duty with the station crew members well into their sleep period for the night. Flight Director and former astronaut T.J. Creamer is presiding over the Orbit 3 team this evening. This past Sunday, the Antares rocket and the encapsulated Cygnus cargo craft rolled out from its integration building at Wallops to the Oceanside launch pad to receive late cargo loading and to be rotated vertically for final pre-launch processing. As you probably know by now, the launch was originally scheduled for Tuesday night, but a forecast of inclement weather at Wallops for both Tuesday and Wednesday pushed this initial launch attempt to this evening. Now we're sitting at T-minus 35 minutes, 55 seconds and counting. All systems are go for launch. No issues being worked by the flight control teams and the launch control teams at Wallops. As has become the custom for Northrop Grumman, each Cygnus resupply craft is named after a noted space explorer who contributed to the cause of human space exploration. The Cygnus being launched tonight is named for NASA astronaut Kalpana Chawla, who twice flew into space on the STS-87 mission aboard the Space Shuttle Columbia in 1997, and then on the ill-fated STS-107 mission aboard Columbia in 2003, in which she and her 6 crewmates lost their lives during entry. Kalpana Chawla honored on this mission of Cygnus to the International Space Station.
Verify local indicator illuminated. LCOPS-1, launch enabled and illuminated. And GSO step 348, enable your local launch enable button at the failsafe panel. Verify local indicators illuminated. GSO, launch enabled and illuminated. Copy that. We'll check steps 347 and...
As mentioned earlier, the Antares rocket being launched tonight is a 2-stage rocket to propel the Cygnus cargo craft to its preliminary orbit, beginning the chase to reach the International Space Station in the wee hours Sunday morning. With us this evening by phone to discuss Antares and its 9-minute ride from the launch pad is Christina Halona, the Northrop Grumman Antares Systems Engineering Program Manager. Christina, thanks for joining us tonight. Good to be with you.
Thank you for having me, Rob. I'm excited to be here, and welcome to all the viewers watching. Looking forward to a successful Antares launch and a Cygnus mission to the International Space Station.
Inside 34 minutes until liftoff, and if you would, Christina, walk us through Antares launch and its climb to orbit step by step.
Sure. So after post-launch from Wallops there, Cygnus will separate from the Antares rocket approximately 9 minutes after launch. The spacecraft will then begin initializing the propulsion system and various avionics components. The solar array deployment will start approximately 2 hours after separation, and then once that is complete, Cygnus will continue catching up to the International Space Station in preparation for berthing on Saturday morning around 5:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Christina, this is called a 230 plus model of the Antares rocket. Tell us a little bit about its capability and what Northrop Grumman envisions for Antares in the future.
Sure, Rob. Prior to NG-12, we had 230 configuration, and that it was a little bit, we had to go a little bit lighter and took some things off and improved a lot of our mass issues. So 230 plus is we can carry more cargo, and we're also getting very light as far as the things that we're building onto the rocket. And we're looking forward to have 230 plus through NG-17. And looking forward to taking more cargo to the International Space Station in the future.
Christina Halona of Northrop Grumman with us this evening by phone as the countdown for Cygnus's launch now stands at T-minus 32 minutes and counting. At the time of launch at 8:38 and 44 seconds p.m. Central Time, 9:38:44 Eastern Time, the International Space Station and its 3 residents will be flying 258 miles over the Atlantic off the northeast coast of Brazil. Antares, I should say, and Cygnus will follow a familiar flight path, launching to the southeast from Wallops to start the rendezvous that will lead to its robotic capture on Sunday morning. The 2 robotic astronauts who will be in charge of capturing Cygnus after its 3-day journey from the launch pad are Station Commander Chris Cassidy of NASA. He will be backed up by Russian cosmonaut Ivan Wagner. Cassidy, Wagner, and Russian cosmonaut Anatoly Ivanishin are asleep at this hour, beginning the final 3 weeks of their 6.5-month mission on the orbital outpost. They are planning to return to Earth on October 21st, U.S. time, October 22nd, Kazakhstan time, on their Soyuz MS-16 spacecraft, heading for a parachute-assisted landing on the steppe of Kazakhstan to wrap up a mission of 6.5 months aboard the International Space Station. That will come after an 8-day handover from the next trio of residents to launch from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan to the International Space Station, including NASA astronaut Kate Rubins and Russian cosmonauts Sergei Ryzhikov and Sergei Kud-Sverchkov, who are in the final stages of training down at the Baikonur Cosmodrome. Their launch is scheduled just after midnight Central Time on October 14th. 30 minutes now until liftoff. Antares is in great shape on the launch pad. No issues being worked by the launch control team at Wallops Island.
Launch team LC, countdown 1. We're at T-minus 30 minutes to our target T0. Step 353, poll for final FTS power on in Arm Command test. Safety?
Safety is go.
FSO?
FSO's go.
Ops 1.
Ops 1 is go.
Elect 2.
Elect 2 is go.
We are go for final FTS power on in Arm Command test. FSO, step 354, bring up command transmitter with check channel on. And work.
The launch conductor at Wallops with an intermediate poll of his team in the Range Control Center. All positions polling go. The flight control team here at Mission Control in Houston also has been polled and has relayed their go status to the teams both at Wallops and at Dulles, Virginia, which again will take over control of the flight of Cygnus once it separates from the second or upper stage of the Antares rocket.
LC FSO, Wallops command site is on, check channel radiating.
Copy that, FSO. And Ops 1, step 355, apply external power to FTSA and FTSB.
LC Ops 1, FTSA, external power on. FTSB, external power on.
Amongst the supplies being carried as part of the 4 tons of supplies and scientific experiments to the International Space Station is a variety of food for the expedition crew members, not only the departing Expedition 63 crew, but the oncoming Expedition 64 crew. Some of the goodies being carried up aboard the SS Kalpana Chawla to the International Space Station include brie cheese, several varieties of smoked Gouda and provolone, prosciutto, chorizo, dark chocolate-covered cranberries, Genoa salami, and summer sausage. Some of that requested specifically by the Expedition 64 crew, Kate Rubin, Sergei Ryzhikov, Sergei Kud-Sverchkov, and the next crew to launch on SpaceX's Crew Dragon, currently scheduled for the early morning hours of October 31st. That crew will be launching on a 25-hour trajectory from Launch Pad 39A at the Kennedy Space Center to reach the International Space Station in the early morning hours of November 1st.
LC Elect 2, FTS arm indication received. FTS currently indicates safe.
And FSO verify FTS arm indication. FSO had arm indication.
LC Elect 2, FTS safe and arm, and FTOU safe.
And I copy all, and that completes steps 361, 362, and 363.
For the flight profile of Antares as it heads uphill to the point of its preliminary orbit, dropping off Cygnus in its preliminary orbit some 9 minutes after launch. We'll be hearing these performance calls from the Range Control Center at Wallops Island, Virginia. The main engine cutoff for the first stage of Antares will come at about the 3-minute, 18-second mark, followed about 6 seconds later by stage 1 separation, and 30 seconds after that by fairing separation, which will expose the Cygnus resupply craft to the environment heading uphill for the remainder of the 9-minute ride to its preliminary orbit. Stage 2 ignition is scheduled at about the 4-minute, 7-second mark into the flight. That will be about a 2-minute, 44-second burn of the Stage 2 engine. Following that, at the 6-minute, 51-second mark, we'll have Stage 2 burnout and orbital insertion, followed 2 minutes and 18 seconds later by Cygnus's separation from the second stage. And as you heard from Christina Halona earlier in our interview with her, it will be about 2 hours or so after launch where the commands will be given to begin the deployment of Cygnus's Ultraflex solar arrays. That's about a 30-minute procedure. We will not be on the air for solar array deploy. We will be standing by to monitor it, however, and will report the results of solar array deploy on our website at nasa.gov. 25 minutes until launch, everything going smoothly.
T-minus 25 minutes to our target T0. Step 364, report readiness for recalibration of engine pressure sensors, MES2.
LC MES2, ready for engine pressure sensor recal.
EHS1.
EHS1 is go.
And we're ready for engine pressure sensor recal, OPS1. Recalibrate engine pressure sensors.
LC OPS1 and work. LC OPS1, engine pressure sensors recalibrated and ready for flight.
Copy that, OPS1. Check 365. Prop 2, LC, countdown 1, step 366, place OCCS into SAC mode and pause HSS ASC.
LC Prop 2 in work. And LC Prop 2, HSS ASC is paused.
And your go to configure EHS RP valve for final countdown.
And copy that, opening valve 8021 on my mark. 3, 2, 1, mark. And LC, prop lead, EHS, RP configured for final countdown.
Copy that, prop lead. We'll check 368 complete. Prop 2, resume HSS ASC.
There will be one final poll for readiness to proceed with the terminal countdown that will be coming up shortly. At the T-minus 3-minute 30-second mark, the Range Control Center engineers will be initiating an auto-sequence handoff that will initiate the terminal count for Antares, leading to a launch once again at 8:38 and 44 seconds p.m. Central Time, 9:38:44 Eastern Time.
Step 372, arm tell for rapid retract.
LC Site Control, tell arm for rapid retract.
The TEL is the acronym for Transporter Erector Launcher. That's basically the gantry that you see buttressed up against the side of Antares as it stands on Launch Pad 0A at the Mid-Atlantic Regional Spaceport at Wallops Island, Virginia.
And TEL, LC, countdown 1.
LC TEL, go ahead.
Yeah, step 373.
Rapid retract arming is in work.
Okay, copy that. I'll wait for your call on that. GNC-1 LC, step 374, provide status of upper level winds.
LC, GNC-1, upper level winds are go.
Copy, upper level winds are go. We'll check step 374 complete.
One interesting note about this particular mission of Cygnus to the International Space Station, as we mentioned, this vehicle named by Northrop Grumman after the late NASA astronaut Kalpana Chawla, who lost her life in the Columbia accident on February 1st, 2003. She was the first NASA astronaut of South Asian and Indian descent. The lead NASA flight director for this mission, Pooja Jasrani, who will be on console Sunday morning for the rendezvous and capture of Cygnus, also of Indian descent and South Asian descent. So the symmetry of history coming into focus with Pooja Jasrani, who will be in mission control here in Houston. Once Cygnus reaches orbit, a series of pre-programmed engine firings on the vehicle will begin the 3-day rendezvous to catch up to the International Space Station. The Cygnus will arrive at a point just directly underneath the station early Sunday morning, and then will inch its way up what is called the R-bar, or the radial vector, the imaginary line drawn between the International Space Station and the Earth, to a point at which Chris Cassidy, backed up by Russian cosmonaut Ivan Wagner, working from the cupola workstation, the robotics workstation in the cupola, will extend the Canadian-built Canadarm2 robotic arm to grapple the grapple fixture on Cygnus, at which point the operations will be turned over to ground controllers here in Mission Control, who will maneuver Cygnus to its installation point on the Earth-facing port of the Unity module, where it will be bolted into place and will remain at the station until mid-December. Coming up on the T-minus 19-minute mark into the countdown, no issues being worked right now by the launch control team at the Wallops Flight Facility in Virginia. The countdown at Wallops continues to proceed without any issues being worked as we approach the 17.5-minute mark until liftoff. Once again, at the time of liftoff, the International Space Station and its 3 residents, Station Commander Chris Cassidy of NASA and Russian cosmonauts Anatoly Ivanishin and Ivan Wagner, will be flying 258 miles over the Atlantic Ocean off the northeast coast of Brazil. They have been aboard the International Space Station since April, just 3 weeks away from completing a 6.5-month mission on the orbital outpost. Antares is fully fueled, ready to take flight. No issues being worked. Everything very quiet on the loops right now.
Yeah, LC, this is prop lead. Actual F1N level is 12 of 12. And LC, this is prop lead, step 381. Actual F1N level is 12 of 12.
Okay, copy that. 12 of 12. T step 382. Can you provide status on F1N level? Core 1, LC, countdown 1.
LC, Core 1 on countdown 1. Can you stand by?
Yeah, affirm. Let's make it quick. CMD, LC, countdown 1. CMD, LC, countdown 1.
LC, this is CMD.
Yeah, CMD, you go for step 385. Transfer Cygnus to launch mode.
LC, CMD in work.
Copy and work.
LC, Core 1 on countdown 1.
Go ahead, Core 1.
Fuel level adjustment is not required.
Copy that. Fuel level does not require adjustment. And prop 2, configure OCCS for no adjustment to fuel level.
LC, prop 2 in work.
And properly be advised, step 384 is not required.
Launch engineers monitoring the fuel levels on the Antares rocket. Everything seems to be in excellent shape as we approach the 14-minute mark until liftoff. The International Space Station currently traveling on a northwest to southeast trajectory, having just passed over Washington, D.C., in an orbit inclined 51.6 degrees to either side of the equator.
To implement a hold at T-minus 11 minutes. Again, we're going to go ahead and implement a hold at T-minus 11 minutes. That will be a CDT hold time of 012745. TD, you copy?
TD copies all.
And admin, you copy? Correct. Hold number 1 on your matrix.
Admin copies hold.
And prop 2, can I get status on step 383?
And LC, this is prop 2 on countdown 1. We are working an issue. The wrong button was selected. We are in talks with admin currently.
Copy that.
LC, TD on countdown 1. Range is green for wind-drifted debris and toxic for the whole window.
All right, copy that. TD, we're going to go ahead and implement our hold at T-minus 11 regardless.
TD copies all. Please advise with the pickup time for the clock.
Yeah, Wilco. Our resume time will be 013244. How copy?
TD copies 013244 Zulu.
That's a good readback. Okay, launch team, we are going to go ahead and hold the clock at T-minus 11 minutes. We have not proceeded with our poll with the final countdown, working a couple of late issues here. We have directed Cygnus to put themselves in launch mode, so they'll report back on that, and we're also in our helium topping at this time. And we'll get additional status out here as it becomes available.
And as you heard from the launch control team at the Range Control Center in Wallops, we're going to go into a hold at T-minus 11 minutes, just about 40 seconds from now, as they evaluate wind direction that would come into play in the unlikely event of a launch accident that would take toxic fuel into the wrong direction of personnel working at the Wallops flight facility. If everything goes as planned, we expect to be able to pick up the count to reach the end of this 5-minute launch window. There is only a 5-minute launch window available for any launch attempt for Antares and the Cygnus spacecraft.
We're currently in our 4-minute, 59-second hold, trying to resolve a couple of issues here. We'll provide status in a second.
The launch window expires at 8:43 and 44 seconds p.m., 9:43:44 p.m. Eastern Time. So we'll be standing by for further words from the launch conductor at Wallops. Once again, we are standing by for further word from the Range Control Center at Wallops on picking up the count to reach the end of this 5-minute launch window, which would expire at 8:43:44 p.m. Central Time, 9:43:44 p.m. Eastern.
LC, this is CMD.
Go ahead, CMD.
Yes, the Cygnus is in launch mode and nominal.
Okay, copy that. We'll go ahead and check 387 complete. Okay, launch team LC, countdown 1. I do want to go ahead and get our poll to proceed with our final countdown started here. I understand we might get some go pendings, and I know that both prop lead and GC are off working some issues right now, but I want to get goes or go pendings on our poll to proceed with final countdown. Our planned pickup time is at 013244, and that's in just over 2 minutes. GSO?
GSO, go.
RSO?
RSO's go.
TD?
TD is go.
Stage 1?
Stand by, LC.
MES1?
MES1 is go.
ACE?
ACE is go.
And Mars?
Mars is go.
And everybody else can stand by.
Just under 2 minutes left before the countdown would need to resume to reach the end of tonight's 5-minute launch window. Standing by for further word from Wallops.
Okay, launch team, we're going to be picking up the count in just over a minute here. Again, our new target T0 time will occur at 014344 UTC. That's 014344 UTC. Ops 2 LC.
Go ahead, LC.
Yeah, be advised, we're going to delay start of engine evac until I give you direction to do so.
Copy that. LC, stage 1, let's go.
Okay, copy. I've got stage 1 go.
Standing by for the resumption of the countdown to reach the end of the launch window with the new T0 time for liftoff at 8:43:44 p.m. Central Time. Now we're hearing that the reason for this brief delay is a boat out in the range. The range believes it will be clear just a moment or two from now.
Okay, I want to complete our poll to proceed with final countdown. Prop lead, countdown 1.
Prop lead is go pending 1914 reading dry.
Copy that, prop lead. GC. Copy that. CMD.
CMD is go.
LD.
LD is go.
NG.
In honor of Kalpana Chawla, who inspired millions of people as the first woman of Indian descent to fly into space, Northrop Grumman is go.
Copy that. We are going to proceed with final countdown. Ops 2, your go for step 389. Start engine evac.
LC Ops 2, engine evacuation started.
The range now clear at Wallops. Everything in good shape at the T-minus 10-minute mark. Liftoff now scheduled at 8:43 and 44 seconds p.m. Eastern Time, 9:43:44 Eastern Time.
Ops 1, LC, countdown 1.
Go ahead, LC.
Yeah, step 391, enable ACS VDMs.
Countdown underway. T-minus 9 minutes and counting.
VDMs internal power on.
The range is clear at Wallops. Antares in great shape. Cygnus ready to fly.
VDMs enabled, voltage nominal, ODM commands clear.
Copy that. Elect 1, check 392. Launch team, be advised, step 393 is not required for today's operation. Site control, wait for your call on 394.
LC MES1, step 390, vacuum verified.
Copy that, MES1, check step 390 complete.
T-minus 8 minutes and counting.
LC
Prop 3, I'll wait for your call on step 395.
Copy that, LC.
As the International Space Station approaches the northeast coast of South America, we're coming up on the 7-minute, 20-second mark into the countdown.
LC, this is Prop 3 on countdown 1.
Go.
I can confirm step 395 VTSO activation verified.
Copy that. Check 395. Ops 2, step 396. Initialize ground ordnance power supplies.
LC Ops 2, ground ordnance power supplies initialized.
Ground ordnance power supplies nominal.
Copy all. Check 396 and 397.
T-minus 6 minutes and counting. In about 2.5 minutes, the ground sequencer will initiate the auto-sequence handoff for the terminal count.
TN2 confirmed. Roger that. Site control will check step 398 complete. And Ops 2, LC, countdown 1, step 399. You're good to initiate engine priming.
LC Ops 2, engine priming started.
Ops 1, you're go to transfer avionics to internal power.
LC Ops 1, avionics internal power on. Standby 5.
Once again, Cygnus, once it reaches its preliminary orbit, will undergo a series of pre-programmed engine burns in the rendezvous profile that will take it to the International Space Station for its capture early Sunday morning. Capture scheduled at 5:10 a.m. Central Time, 6:10 a.m. Eastern Time. Chris Cassidy using the Canadarm2 robotic arm to grapple on to the Cygnus cargo craft for its ground-controlled robotic installation on the Earth-facing port of the Unity module.
All arm commands sent.
T-minus 4 minutes and counting.
NASA TD, step 406, report range status.
LCTD, range is green.
Copy, range green.
LC priming verified.
Copy, we have priming verified. Check step 407 complete.
Antares soon to create a artificial dawn on a night in which there's a full moon overhead, about to arc out to the southeast from the Wallops flight facility on its path to deliver Cygnus to its preliminary orbit.
FC commanded to flight mode.
Copy, LEC 1.
Auto sequence start. RDM voltages and currents nominal.
GNC 1, verify ready for nav mode.
Terminal count underway.
Ready for nav mode. Nav mode.
Ops 2, 414, switch to nav.
Orb nav, switch to navigate.
And LC, this is Prop Lead. We are in
LC,
OTCS automated abort.
Orb nav, telemetry verified. This is launch team on countdown 1, abort, abort. This is LC on countdown 1, abort, abort. We will be proceeding with abort safing 8-9. It's abort safing 8-9.
And as you heard, we have an abort, no launch tonight. Standing by for further words from Wallops. The launch was scrubbed at the T-minus 2-minute 21-second mark.
Your go to disable on Alpha 3, disable using no embedded data stream.
And data stream is suspended.
And Core 1 direct use no way to restart their MS session or report when complete.